So you purchased my Dinzee full throttle bodysuit, hoping to customize those textures, and you looked at it and got a little confused. No worries, I'm here to help you. I made this tutorial so we can easily customize the colors. Let's get started. Open up the Mask Maker Photoshop file. We have a lot of masks in here. Each one will mask a separate accent color on our final base color. This will make it easier to decide where we're going to show what color. Now we're going to go to the one that says your text here on accent color 1. We're going to duplicate it, name it accordingly to not get confused. It's very organized based on the location that it has on the bodysuit. And what we're going to do is we're going to customize this. So I'm bringing in my own made up brand images because unfortunately I cannot sell brands that are copyrighted, but I made this mask so you could go ahead and put whatever you want to there, even if it's a real life brand. When you're doing this, don't forget that white shows and black hides. So as you can see, I'm going to edit my version. Feel free to edit yours to make it say whatever you wish. I do have a few pre-made ones and you can use those as an example. So I'm going to speed up the video and come back in a moment. Now that you've finished, you're going to go to File, Export, Quick as PNG in order to export your mask. Make sure that you go into Textures and into Mask and name your mask correctly so you would be able to recognize it. I'm going to stick to the naming convention that I had used, and I'm going to use accent color _ mask 3. Now that I have it saved in the correct spot, I'm going to scroll through the pre-existing masks for accent color 2. And pick up the one that I like. I made a few already pre-existing masks for this color, so feel free to choose one of the ones that I made or make your own. I chose this mask. It is already pre-existing and has already been exported by me, so I'm just going to move on to accent color 3. In accent color 3, I'm going to pick one of the already existing ones. Because it's already exported, I'm going to just move on. Now I'm going to open the PBR Maker Photoshop file. And yours might look a little different than mine with the colors, but as you can see, we have a lot to play with. So I'm going to close or minimize all the folders, and I'm going to open the mask folder. As you can see, here's where we have all of our masks, and I'm going to teach you how to select exactly the pieces that we want and then mask the color based on that. I'm going to drag in the mask that I had just made. All of the pre-existing masks are already in this file, so you don't need to drag those in as well. If you remember, like I said before, white shows and black hides. So how do we tell Photoshop that we want to use this mask that we had made and mask the colors? There are two ways to do it. The first way is to go into the channels and hit Alt RGBA. Just Alt and left click it. This will create a selection based on the black and white parts that we have showing on our canvas. So it's very important to have that shown. Now, as you can see, I am going to accent color 2. I right click, delete mask, and then I hit this tiny button at the bottom that generates a new mask based on my selection. As you can see, now we only have the parts that we want to show actually show. So I'm going to now select the mask for accent color 2. I'm scrolling through all the masks to see which one I like. Again, this is the one that I liked before. So now I will show you the second way to select. We're going to hit Select, Color Range, and we're going to pick the white. We will now select and move the slider based on what works for us. Check the preview. I'm going to keep mine at 200 because when you have a gradient, you want it to have as much fuzziness as possible. And just like we did before, we're going to go to accent color 2. This time, we're going to delete the mask and generate a new one from our selection. And as you can see, once again, it worked. In some situation, it is better to have accent color 2 underneath accent color 1, and so I moved them in the hierarchy to make sure they don't overlap. Now I'm just going to mess with the colors to pick the ones that I think would look best. As you can see, I'm just opening the base color for each of the accent colors and the main color, and hiding and showing the color layers in order to have the color that I want. You can also adjust the colors and make your own colors. Just make sure to use the hue saturation value adjustment layer. This is because the texture is actually baked into the base color. Therefore, if you don't adjust that layer, it will look a little different and will not look as good. I'm going to speed up the video of me choosing the colors until we reach the next step. Now that I am happy with the colors, we're going to go to File, Export, Quick as PNG, and then we're going to go out of the mask folder and into the texture folder. I'm going to make a new folder for this tutorial just so I can stay organized. And in there, I'm going to name this accordingly, make sure I name it base color so I know what it is. Now that it is saved, we're going to move on to the next step. I'm going to go into each folder, hide the base color, and make sure that the roughness is showing. We do this because each accent color has a different level of roughness, and we want to make sure we keep it cohesive with our masking. Otherwise, some parts will be shiny, and the parts that shouldn't be shiny will still be shiny, and it'll be a mess. Anyway, now that we're finished, we're going to export, Quick as PNG, and make sure to name this roughness. Now that we did this, we're going to ignore the normal, we're going to hide the normal, it doesn't work, and we're going to make sure our metallic maps show. And pretty much we're going to repeat the process with the metallic. We're going to go into File, Export, Quick as PNG, and name this one Metallic. Now that we saved the metallic map, we have one last one, which is the height. It is not always relevant and doesn't always translate, but in this case, we desperately need it in order to create our own normal. So once again, File, Export, Quick as PNG, and name this one Height. Now as you can see, we have our base color, roughness, height, and metallic. You're going to Google normal map and go into the normal map online generator. It looks like this. What you're going to do is you're going to take your height mask and drag it into the first slot. It will take a little bit to load, and once it does, you can download your normal map. Now that we have our normal map downloaded, just drag it into the folder that we have everything in one place, and don't forget to name it correctly so we stay organized. I cannot stress enough how important this step is. And you're done. Now it's time to test. I open Blender, and as you can see, I have the old texture in here. I'm going to go into the shader tab and change the base color with the base color that we had just created. As you can see, it changed and it looks a little weird. That's because we need to change the rest of the mask. So we're going to then put in the metallic. Then we're going to go ahead and put in the roughness. And last but not least, we're going to put in the normal map. And don't forget in color space to change it from sRGB to non-color. Now your normal map looks correct. And as you can see, we're all finished. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. If you run into any more issues, don't hesitate to reach out to me via my Discord. And thank you so much for supporting me.